I put my hand on his shoulder, and he jumped as if he'd been shot.
"What is it?"
he snapped. His voice was quiet, almost gentlemanly, if you know what I mean. "In trouble?" I said for the second time. He looked up at me. His eyes, I was surprised to see, had a greenish tinge, and at the back of those eyes was what I thought must be fear. Nothing else in the way of emotion would account for that queer glint in them.
"I don't know what to do,"
he admitted. "Can I help?" I asked. My journalistic instincts were now thoroughly roused, and I felt sure that something extremely odd was going on. There was something very queer about this man and the way in which he was talking. I thought that it would be as well to try to calm him down a bit, so I sat down by his side, leaned back on the seat, and crossed my legs. I got out my cigarette case, selected a cigarette, and held out the case to my companion. "Have one?" I asked.
"Thanks,"
he accepted gratefully. I lit it for him, noting that his hand was shaking painfully. He inhaled the smoke and puffed it out spasmodically. I now knew for certain that there was some trouble ahead of me. I tried to struggle against it, but I didn't struggle very hard. What journalist would?
"What's the trouble, brother?" I said. "There's a dead man in my lift," he replied, in flat, unemotional tones, as if he was merely making some remark about the weather.
"What?" It was my turn to be shocked, and while I thought that I was pretty well shock-proof at my time of life, I was unable to stop myself shouting out this word.
"There's a dead man in my lift,"
he repeated, still without any kind of excitement in his tones. "Where's your lift?" I asked. He indicated the gate behind him, the gate which led to the entrance of the Cliff Railway. For the moment I'd forgotten that it was usually called the Broadgate lift. "You're the operator of the lift?" I inquired. He nodded. "And when did you find this dead man?" I asked.
"When I unlocked the gates this morning."
Redhead was thawing a bit now, getting almost chatty, I thought. It seemed that he had suffered from a pretty considerable shock, and the fact that I was giving him a chance to unburden himself was something that he very much appreciated. "What time was this?" I asked. He glanced at his wristwatch.
"About 10 minutes ago," he said quietly. "During the season, the lift starts working at 9 o'clock. It finishes at night at 6:30.
I considered this for a moment. "Then you locked it up at 6:30 last night?" I said.
"Yes."
"And the corpse wasn't there when you locked up last night?" I said. He shuddered slightly.
"No," he replied.
"But it was there when you opened the gates this morning?"
"Yes."
"Were the locks tampered with in any way?" I asked. This seemed to me at first sight to be the obvious line of attack, though why on earth anyone should bother to get into a lift in order to die was something that it was not at all easy for me to understand.
"The locks hadn't been touched," he said. "I'd be prepared to swear to that."
"What sort of locks were they?" I asked. He paused for a moment before answering that one. I got the feeling somehow that he was now at last realizing that he was telling me a very queer tale. Indeed, I was already envisaging the headlines that the story would make. It seemed that my instinct when I had first caught sight of Redhead had been true enough. This was a story that was going to hit the headlines all right. Just where it was going to lead it was impossible to say, of course, but that there would be some repercussions in Fleet Street and elsewhere I felt certain enough. The man had not replied to my last question, so I thought that it might be as well to repeat it. "What sort of locks were they?" I said slowly, speaking as one might when speaking to a subnormal child.
"Padlocks," he said. "The bottom gates are locked from the inside. Then the lift is brought to the top and the gates are fastened by means of a padlock on the outside."
I considered this. "What happens to the key?" I asked. It seemed to me to be as well to get all this clear before going any further in direct investigation. Before, that is, having a look at the dead man who had appeared so mysteriously in the lift.
"I take it home with me,"
the man said. "And it is